suspension whatsoever. Good morning.
Good morning, Moses.
You're fully trading.
Definitely. Welcome to news headlines. The Independent National Electoral Commission has fixed January the 22nd as the date for presidential elections in the 2011 polls. The National Assembly elections will take place on the 15th, while those for governorship and state houses of assembly will hold on the 29th of January. The Commissioner of Information and Publicity, Solomon Shoyebi, announced this at the headquarters of the Commission in Abuja, adding that voters' registration will take place between the 1st to the 14th of November 2010. While there are indications that the 2011 election timetable by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) may have featured prominently in the meeting between President Goodluck Jonathan and the governors of the People's Democratic Party-controlled state, the meeting, which lasted for over 3 hours, took place in the House 7 of the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting was also believed to have deliberated on the attitude of some state governors to the perceived presidential ambition of the president, who was likely to declare his intention to join the race anytime from now. Well, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Joseph Dodo, has faulted the 2010 Electoral Act, saying it contains some flaws which may affect the conduct of credible elections in Nigeria. At the inauguration of 3 committees of the association, Mr. Dodo also flawed the position of the Independent National Electoral Commission on the tenure of 6 governors who won rerun elections conducted in their states. He said the electoral body ought to have approached the courts to determine the actual tenure of the affected governors. And an international scene, in spite of a warning by the top U.S. commander that its plans may have far-reaching repercussions all over the world, a small church in the United States says it will defy international condemnation and go ahead with plans to burn copies of the Quran on the anniversary of 9/11. General David Petraeus had warned that the plan will endanger the lives of his troops in Afghanistan, but the pastor of the church says although he prayed about it, the church will go ahead with its plans to send clear message to the radical element of Islam. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said the church's plan was disrespectful and disgraceful. Muslim countries and NATO have also hit out at the move. And here on the continent, a senior UN official has criticized in very strong terms the lack of protection for the victims of recent rapes in the Congo. UN Assistant Secretary General for Peacekeeping, Atal Kari, said UN peacekeepers have failed the victims of mass rape in eastern DR Congo. Mr. Kari had been sent to DR Congo by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to investigate the attacks in July and August. And in a report to the United Nations Security Council, he said that the scale of systematic rape by the armed rebels was far worse than feared. Well, that's it on news headlines. Over now to you, Bolson.
Thank you. Any timetable for the next news track?
Definitely, 11 o'clock.
Thank you. It hasn't changed here on the channel. I'll be here at 11 for news track. Let's look at the market. It happened before, now it's happening again. But let's start by looking at the week which we... the financial week is ending in a couple of hours from now. The composite index yesterday fell before the 24,000 level on negative outlook. We've seen a sell-off on risky assets, just stocks and shares around the world, not just in Nigeria, but we've got our own issues to deal with over here. Banks have been leading the declines and the appetite for sell-off ahead of September 21 MPC meeting. Everybody is sitting on the edge, as it were. What will be the key policy decisions of Lamido Sanusi's led central bank MPC? That's very, very crucial, as the central bank sets what we call the 10% speed limit for banks' exposure to proprietary trading or margin loans, if you want to use the local parlance. So it's been a very busy week. This is coming to an end, but we've had issues, backlog of them to deal with. Very important yesterday, the stock exchange council took several decisions. One of them was to suspend or sanction companies, about 30 of them, for failing to meet post-listing requirements. Let's bring in on the show the president of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, Mike Itegboje, who's also a chartered stockbroker and a floor-based trader at the stock exchange headquarters in Lagos. Thank you very much, Mr. Itegboje, for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's start from the recent to the past. Those decisions yesterday by the Council of the Exchange to sanction those companies that failed to meet stop-to post-listing requirements. Last year, the Nigerian Stock Exchange under the previous administration also delisted dozens of companies. At least more than 2 dozens were taken out last year because they haven't provided financial statements as and when due. But the dragnet, if you want to use that expression, as I yesterday, caught up with some big fish, as it were.
Yeah.
What's different this time around?
You see, before, a lot of companies were given time to meet the post-listing requirements, and they never took advantage of it. Last year, a lot of them that actually ceased to exist in real terms had to be delisted. But this particular episode happened to be that most of these companies were listed during the boom days, if you put it that way. And those are the companies that promised, look, we will get listed and we'll meet all the requirements, and then they were listed. Soon after the listing, maybe because the market went down or something, we don't understand. And brokers and investors have been saying, look, what are we doing? These people took our money, they've been listed, and nothing is heard about them. What is the exchange doing about them? So you have to do something, and I know SEC is also going to do something about it, because we have been complaining, just like the investors have. You know?
It's very when a company gets listed on the stock exchange, one of the key issues is the fact that you need to report back to the market, whether you publish your accounts or you come for a facts behind the figures or presentation to talk to investors, the media. Sometimes the stock exchange officials the analysts get everybody to understand where you're coming from, what is going on. But is market meltdown or making losses enough reason for any company not to perform this obligation?
No, it's not. You see, the fact that you are making losses is no issue. We know things are tough for many companies. It is then the right opportunity to say, look, this is what we are doing to ameliorate the situation. We have made a loss because of this and this and this, and we are working on it to make sure that in the next 6 months, the next 1 year, we'll get out of it. But they just keep quiet.